Okay guys, those of you that bought the surprise mystery box, I know you had to wait several weeks to get the reveal. Although, if you bought it, you already got the reveal of the surprise mystery box that we dropped. There were 12 samples in here and a free gift. Let me know if you got it, what your thoughts are on the kit. I did this in conjunction with the fragrance group who runs SUAVE Avant-Garde. And this is the video that I normally do closer to spring, but we are doing a spring sale right now, 30% off of most everything on the SUAVE Avant-Garde website, minus the Mind Games fragrances. And I'm going to go over the fragrances that were in this kit in this video and let you know which ones you can take 30% off on. And of course, Mind Games doesn't qualify. So find out about these fragrances as I'm going to reveal what was in the surprise mystery box. If you got it, coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Sebastian talking to you about the surprise mystery box we dropped on February 1st. This is February 21st, so 20 days later, I'm doing the reveal. And also we're doing this promotion, 30% off on SUAVE Avant-Garde. I do these videos once every quarter, or 4 times a year, every season I should say. This is the spring video. It comes earlier because we are doing it in conjunction with what's featured in the kit. So let me open this up and show you a little bit in case you missed it. We might do another one of these, but not for a retailer like we did this time. We've got a regular one potentially coming within the next 2 to 3 months. And we had very little amounts of this kit. We didn't have a lot of these kits. We did a very tiny amount. And I just want to kind of go over the fragrances with you to let you know. But if you fell in love with anything, do let me know what it is. Add a comment below. The kit features some really great fragrances, and if you're always exploring fragrances, the mystery boxes and my original kits, as you see like this, are a really great way to find and discover fragrances. And you can't, what I'm trying to say is, like, the kit is different samples, so it's not necessarily going to be that you're going to enjoy or really love every single fragrance that's featured in the kit, but you might find something that you like by checking out these kits that we drop every once in a while. So the first fragrance that I spoke to you about in the kit announcement, the mystery box announcement video, was AKRO's Glow, I should say gold. There's 2 fragrances here that feature the word gold, but this one's Glow, AKRO Glow. If you recall, I did a video on this and also featured it as one of my favorite fragrances. It has really grown on me. It's become a really great, delicious amber vanilla fragrance. Super spicy and also a bit smoky. Really wonderful offering. If you haven't tried this, this definitely is a favorite. I still prefer smoke as my favorite, but Glow is really close behind. It's definitely a top 5 from this house. And they've been cranking out the fragrances. There were some, like before Glow came, there were some that were not as exciting and really great for me. My favorites happen to be Smoke, Dark, Awake, and I also like Night a little bit. It's a very cumin forward with the rose, but now Glow has become a favorite of mine. I think it's definitely one of the best, and it's an extrait de parfum fragrance as well. So if you haven't discovered that fragrance, please do. If you weren't able to get this mystery box, it is on the website now for 30% off. So the second fragrance is from the house of Atelier des Ors. Also one of my favorite fragrances from last year. It was featured in, the first 2 fragrances were featured in my favorites from 2024. And this one, I keep saying it's credited to have cocoa and cardamom, but I get a major musky component here and also a lot of amber mixed in. They are not advertising or announcing what notes are in here except for the cocoa and cardamom. This came out along with the coffee one. It's also coffee and cardamom. I much prefer the cocoa because it has that ambery muskiness, and of course a light gourmand touch in there and spicy touches as well. It's really, really great fragrance. I think it's definitely solid. And I was mentioning or complaining that it didn't have a lot of projection. It has grown on me. It does. I mean, I'm not saying it's super, super intense, but it's pretty potent. But it has really, really great longevity, and that's what I like about it. It's an extrait de parfum. The first 2 fragrances are extrait de parfum concentration fragrances, and definitely 2 of my favorites from 2024. As I mentioned in the previous video, these are mostly from 2024, except for one is from years prior. But this next fragrance is the first and only designer we've ever featured in a Scent Club kit or mystery box kit. This is BRIONI EDP Suave, or BRIONI Eau de Parfum Suave. This is the fifth and the recent release from this house, and it's a leather fragrance with fresh spicy notes and ambery woody base notes as well. Of course, it's a leather and it's got some smoky touches thrown in as well. It hasn't turned out to be my favorite fragrance, but it is slowly growing on me. My favorite is the Eau de Parfum Intense. Obviously, I did a video on this whole house. You can go catch that video. But this is slowly growing on me. If you're looking for something different from your typical leather like Tuscan leather or ombre leather from Tom Ford, this is one that you should probably check out. It doesn't smell like those two fragrances, so it's a bit of a unique take on leather, but it's very fresh and spicy. So that's BRIONI Eau de Parfum Suave. And then next we've got ELECTIMUSS London's Caspian Cherry, and I featured this fragrance in a video of cherry fragrances that don't smell like Lost Cherry. Now, noses are different, so you might think this might be very similar to Lost Cherry. It doesn't smell like Lost Cherry to me. It's a really great smelling gourmand take on cherry, and also super smooth and chocolatey creamy. It's got white chocolate and dark chocolate in here. It has warm spices. It has ambery touches and boozy notes and things like that. I think there's amaretto liquor in this, which is kind of almondy, and almonds and cherries kind of are hand in hand. But this is really, really yummy. The more I speak about it, the more I test it out, the more I wear it, the more I'm enjoying it, and the more it smells less like Lost Cherry. Let me know if you guys get Lost Cherry from Caspian Cherry, and let me know if you don't. Put a comment down below. That was the fourth fragrance I spoke about in the initial video I did about the surprise mystery box that we just dropped. So if I didn't tell you the dates, the sale is running from today, 21st of February, until the 24th, which is Monday. So the 30% off promotion is only happening at this time. So if you're in the market for these fragrances, get them now that you've had the kit and you've sampled the fragrances. This is the time to check these out. So this next fragrance was not one that I had experience with. Turned out it's become my favorite fragrance from this house, which I've done a video on. It's GLEAM. GLEAM is a sister house to GRITTI, and this is a really nice take on a musky, woody, creamy, smoky, spicy fragrance. There's warm spices in here, nutmeg, and I mentioned in that video, if they had not put nutmeg in, let's say they put like cinnamon or cloves, this fragrance would be so different. But it's the nice fine balance of little warmth with the spice of the nutmeg against the musk, the incense. There's tonka in here, sandalwood. Together makes for a really wonderful ambery, musky, spicy fragrance. Even though they don't mention amber here, I do get some amber in the base, but I think it's the combination of the notes working together to give me a bit of an ambery effect. But really nice, very luxurious fragrance. And compared to some of the other fragrances in the line, I feel like this is the most refined. And the word refined is definitely right for this. It just seems super smooth and a perfect fragrance. And whereas the previous fragrances, I felt like, you know, this is their first launch. Their fragrances that they're launching are the first fragrances they've created. Here with this is a newer fragrance. I think that they've had some experience with some of their fragrances, and they kind of know what they're doing, if that makes sense to you guys. But that's Iconic Gold from the house of GLEAM. And then we've got GRITTI. It's Hysterica. Most people know about Duchessa, but this is definitely one for you to try as well. It's got lots of gardenia and tuberose, so it's white floral forward. But there's plums and honey in here as well, spices. There's boozy notes. There's bubblegum. There's vanilla. It's a very interesting fragrance. It's super sweet. And against the white floral notes, it creates this kind of a creamy, super smooth and sweet, powdery consistency together. The plum note is a surprise note. It's actually quite nice. Usually they're throwing in cherries or peaches and things like that. So it was kind of a surprise to see plums instead of those fruity notes. So it's kind of a breath of fresh air. We need to see more fragrances with plums. But it's kind of like in that style of Terenzi style fragrances. I consider GRITTI kind of sort of similar. They have their own DNA, but the Terenzi house does a lot of fruity fragrances that are super white floral forward, powdery, and sweet and honeyed as well. But definitely worth checking out. Well, you probably did if you got the kit. That's Hysterica from the house of GRITTI. This is the second very masculine fragrance in the collection, although this is unisex targeted, whereas the Eau de Parfum Suave from BRIONI was a male targeted release. Everything else is unisex. ICYFIZZ from J.U.S. Parfums is definitely a really great take on a modern fougere or barbershop fragrance. It's got lots of lavender, but there's also tea here. There's bergamot, neroli, peppery notes, and woods. And it's got a very ice-cold feel to the fragrance. It's called ICYFIZZ. You can totally experience it. You not only get that kind of sparkling, icy fizziness, but you also get this very calming, cozy effect from the tea note that's in here. Definitely really solid, but definitely something I think you should pull out in the summertime. I think this is really, really perfect when it's really warm outside. Not only does it cool you off, it also kind of soothes you and calms you with the kind of cozy, effect that tea notes has. So that's ICYFIZZ from the house of J.U.S. Parfums. And this is a very, very underhyped brand. It's Liquid Imaginaire, and one of the fragrances from this house that I feel like nobody's talking about, and it's really, really super amazing. It's a powdery, musky fragrance, and if you're into this kind of style, definitely need to check this one out if you have skipped over it. Created by Quinton Biche and another perfumer, I believe Nisreen, something like that. But a really great creation by them. You can tell it's a Quinton Biche, Gévaudan kind of creation because they use Georgie wood and Ambro fix in the notes, but there's a lot of orange blossom or orange flower in here. It's really, really prominent with the saffron. There's mandarin orange. Of course, there's white musk, the ambro fix, the solar accord, cistus labdanum, coriander, carrot seeds, jasmine. Really, really great. Really long-lasting, super potent, but very, very powdery. The powdery effect is really, really strong. I love that about this fragrance. Really nice fragrance. I think that the two perfumers did a great job. And of course, Quinton Biche is cranking them out. And he does some great work in the niche world, I think. A lot of his fragrances are really super amazing, like this one, Liquid Gold. If you sampled that one, let me know what your thoughts are. Do you like it as much as I do? This next fragrance is from the house of Mind Games. It's Mentor. Mentor is an oudi gourmand fragrance. It features boya oud with sandalwood. There's amber coffee, creme de cassis. There's plums here as well. Dark plums, salted caramel, Italian lemons, and tonka beans. I think it's a great job. The oud in here is not too funky, not too animalic. Very westernized oud, but it has some slight funk to it. You'll notice it. But at the end of the fragrance and the dry down, everything is blended beautifully together. It's a smooth, oudi, woody, gourmand, slightly boozy, and caramelly coffeed fragrance. Really a great work. I think they are doing some great fragrances over at Mind Games. This is definitely solid offering from the house. Let me know if you ended up enjoying that one. And then the 10th fragrance I'm talking about here in the kit is Morph's Tonka Tonic. And this is a Tonka bean bomb. Tonka beans with almonds. So it has a very bitter almondy effect in here. There's also sandalwood here, Spanish jasmine, orange blossom, ambrette seeds, benzoin resinoid, coconut water, and figs. So it's musky, kind of milky, because the coconut water gives you that kind of creamy consistency mixed in with all the notes. The ambrette seeds for its muskiness. There is definitely a milky, almost like almond milk effect happening, but more of a bitter almond, not one that you want to drink because it's got a bitter flavor. But as a smell, it smells super fantastic, very cozy, very comforting, kind of fluffy, airy, but also super dense and milky, creamy as well. I think they did a great job. The perfumer is Matthew Nardin, and I have been enjoying a lot of his creations lately. I don't know if you guys enjoy his work, but check that out. It's Tonka Tonic from the house of Morph. Then a fragrance I've spoken about and turned out to be one of my favorites from the house. I did a video on this house. It's Perroy's Mahogany Sun. These fragrances are a bit on the simplistic side, but the smells are really, really great. This is my favorite from Perroy. It's a nice mixture of frangipani with figs and vanilla, but I also feel like there's sandalwood in here because there's a really creamy, woody, smooth consistency or experience when you're wearing it. So the entire feeling kind of has, the wearing experience has kind of a floral, fruity, sweet, vanillic woodiness when you're wearing it. It's kind of smooth and very fun and playful because it's got this kind of like colorful, feel about it, because the frangipani is a tropical floral note. You've got the figs for its fruitiness. It's not the leaves, it's the fruits for sure. And then that kind of smooth creaminess of the vanilla. I think they did a great job. There's a little bit of a tropical juicy quality, like a fruit juice or something. I think it's the way the fragrance wears, but just kind of like a fruitiness from the tropical note of the frangipani and then the figs, but something mixed in with something vanillic. Like it's a smoothness and it's really like exotic drink that you're drinking. I get that kind of a feel with this one, but it smells really fantastic. You can wear this one in the summertime or in the wintertime. I think it's perfect for any time of the year. And the last fragrance, this is Plume Impressions Pop Heart, and this is the one that was not launched last year, but a really solid offering. At first I wasn't really the biggest fan of this, but when I started coming back to it, it reminded me of Lamar by Kajal. Not identical, but it has that kind of an experience. And the fragrances, both fragrances are created by Mark Buxton. I think that's the reason why I'm getting somewhat of a similarity. This is actually fruity notes of pineapple, strawberries, and apples. Along with gourmand notes, there's vanilla and caramel, covered up with some dusty, powdery woods. There's probably some things like ambroxan in here, but very dry and powdery. And then you kind of like dig through this kind of like shield and you experience this kind of fruity, gourmand, vanillic, caramelly consistency. It's quite delicious. And there is a little hint of a Lamar in here, but I don't think it's very, very noticeable. But that's Plume Impressions Pop Heart. And that's the last fragrance. Again, as I said, there is a promotion happening over at So Avant-Garde, 30% off everything except for Mind Games. Mind Games is 10% off, and the codes are in the info box. Not on these fragrances, there's a lot more to discover over there, but I'm trying to kind of cover both deals. The fact that we featured these fragrances in the surprise mystery box, as you can see, and of course the promotion over at So Avant-Garde. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, do list below. Let me know what your thoughts are on the kit, which fragrances you ended up enjoying. Add a comment below. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.